What's up, everybody? It's almost the Happy New Year. Mafex 227. Let's jump right in. Quick impression, looking at Luke Skywalker from The Mandalorian was, wow, it really isn't an impressive portrait. I don't feel like the portrait looks like the image exactly. You got an approximation there, but it's not spot on. Also, I don't feel like the portrait is as good as the SHF Figure Arts version, which I don't have, but I don't think the portrait is as good as that. Those were my immediate first impressions. Whoops. And I put the figures on stands, bro. I put them on stands to avoid that. Quick look at the box and another look there at the back, some of the poses. Very cool. All right, let's get them out and let's check them out. We're going to start out with accessories really quickly. And here's a look at the lightsaber in motion. We've got some open emotive hands, and these are like force sensitive hands. We've got some open hands that you might think, damn, Luke is flying. I mean, yeah, maybe in the new Star Wars, but this is also kind of like Jedi mind trick hands. So that's pretty dope. Then you've got these hands, and I'm seeing these open grip hands more often on figures, and I don't really know what they're for, because clearly he's not going to hold the lightsaber in this hand, so I don't really know what that's about. It could be kind of like the Happy Days, Luke Skywalker. That's a really nice look at the portrait right there. In my opinion, I think even objectively, it's not as good a portrait as the SHF portrait, and this Luke is a notably taller figure. It's tall. I don't have any other Mafex open right now, but I find this figure to be tall. We're going to do the comparison right now and look at the portraits and just see who did it better. So let's go ahead and look at 5 different black suit, Black Series Luke Skywalker's figures. And I've got them ranked from the least good likeness of Luke. And here we see them side by side. And if you just look at them side by side, let me pull that down a little bit. The Black Series figure just has more of a resemblance to Luke, even though this figure looks nothing like Luke. It just hits some bells there with the structure of the face and the eyes that the Mafex just doesn't. By itself, I think it is a nice looking figure, and maybe it kind of looks like the CGI likeness of Luke somewhat there. Let's go to number 4. Side by side there again. Despite the fact that this doesn't really look like Luke Skywalker, it kind of sort of looks more like him than the Mafex. Right? This is my number 3 in terms of looking like the real Luke in Black Series. And you're going to see that all these Black Series figures, the portraits look different, but they all hit some part of Skywalker's bone structure in his face. And again, I think this one looks more like Luke than the Mafex. And number 2, or wherever the hell we are in the countdown, same deal, man. The Mafex, to me, just doesn't look as much like Luke as any of these Black Series figures. And my number 1 strongest likeness to Luke in the Black Series is going to blow this Mafex figure out the frame, bro. Look at that. Interesting, right? In my opinion, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments about the portrait itself, standalone, and where do you think it ranks in the world of Luke Skywalker portraits. Right, let's take another close look at this figure. I love the cape. I love this finish on the cape. It looks so nice. The inside has that shininess, so that's cool, you know, when it's flaring, you know. You get that sheen and that shine. The overall look of Luke, let's take this off. Slides right off. Whoops. I had the other lightsaber anchored here to the hip. Interestingly, it's not on a hook. It has a port and a peg. And as you can see, the slightest touch on that peg, it comes out. You know, so if you're articulating stuff, it'll just drop eventually. And let's take a closer look at the nice metallic gold, metallic silver. Yeah, like if you catch it dead on, There's a likeness to the CGI likeness. There's a likeness to the likeness. Butterfly extensions there. Everybody. I don't care if you're a Jedi, bro. Everybody. Everybody that has a melee weapon. I don't care what kind of melee weapon it is. You got to drop the Conan pose, bro. Because a long time ago in this galaxy... Let me tell you of the days of high adventure. Dun, 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 dun. I've got some really tight, and it's a welcome tightness on all of my joints here. You've got that upper swivel. You've got unintended knee wobble, but no boot swivel. You've got about that much crunch forward, that much back, tilt to either side. You. Dun, 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 dun. It's the wrong theme music, right? It's like, it's the wrong theme music, bro. I don't know the theme music. From a Mandalorian. But hell yeah, this is a cool figure. Let's just get them standing side by side with the other Lukes, the Lukeses. You see how the Mafex is taller, noting how the Black Series are on that little base, and he's still taller. I've got a Mezco Conan handy. As always, I've got a Conan handy. Final thoughts. I kind of want to share where I'm at with Mafex. For me personally, I can get my action figure fix from most Black Series figures and most Marvel Legends figures by comparison in terms of the cost that I would have to pay for those same figures in Mafex. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Mafex figures are the Lamborghini of action figures. They're not perfect. Sometimes they'll come with QC issues, like I just got with my Eradicator, for example. But for the most part, these are masterpieces of action figures in terms of accuracy to characters, deco, design, articulation, and engineering. These are masterpieces. But you definitely pay for that. You definitely pay for that. And so for me, I only cherry pick Mafex at this stage of my collecting because of the price, and I can get that fix from vastly less expensive figures. So here we have the same figure, the Mandalorian Luke in Black Series, Mandalorian Luke in from Mafex, and just want to give you a quick side by side before we wrap up today. And you see more detail here. More folded cloth, more molded wraps here, more texture. Bigger figure, of course, vastly improved articulation. Here, the face has all tons of paint apps on it, whereas here, there are less paint apps and then the more exposed plastic underneath. Look at the back. In terms of the hair, you got wash and paint. Here, you have the sculpted plastic with maybe minimal wash. But overall, I can have a ton of fun with this at a much lower price point, and I can have a vastly larger collection. I could never collect multiple Lukes from Mafex because I just can't afford it. They are absolutely wonderful figures though. But for me, where I'm at my level and stage of collecting, he's a Lamborghini, and I'll put him with the rest of my Lamborghinis. Hell yes. Very cool Luke figure. I don't like this right here. I get it. You got to have the butterfly, but that gap right there just doesn't do it for me. There's a disconnectedness to it, if that makes sense, as you look at that, versus look at how clean this is. See those gaps? Almost looks like robot arms or something, but that is going to be concealed with your cloak. So that eases my pain. Mafex number what? Number 227. Hell yes. Merry Christmas. I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. I wish you a happy New Year's Eve and a wonderful, fulfilling, rewarding 2025. Until next time, everybody. Thank goodness it's playtime.